Dear students, today I am before you with a new topic that has been prescribed in English course semester 6, paper 602, unit 1. And the title of the topic, rather it is a poem. The unit first is all dedicated to the poetry. So I have taken the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore for today's discussion. It is an important poem. It may be asked in your coming exam. You know, Rabindranath Tagore, popularly known as Gurudev, he didn't have a formal education. He didn't went to college or any university. Still, he was a man of he was a genius, multi-talented. He was a poet, writer, storyteller, philosopher, educationist, painter, combined so many things in one. A great patriot, the son of the soil as well. Mostly he wrote in originally in Bangla, that was translated not only in other Indian languages, rather in other foreign languages as well. You might be knowing, he is the first Indian to be awarded with prestigious, most coveted Nobel Prize in Literature in 1930 for his famous collection, anthology of poems, Gitanjali, that was originally written in Bangla. This poem is also entitled as The Heaven of Freedom. The poem is written by him when India was under British rule. There was a social, political, economic anarchy throughout the country. Being a true son of the country, the nation, a great humanitarian, great poet, writer, it touched his heart. And he praised the Almighty to give the Indians that strength with the help of which they will stay healthy. They will remain together emotionally, physically. What happened? So, a note of humanity, fellow feeling, patriotism, spiritualism, everything you will get in the poem. First, I will read out the lines of the poem and then we shall come to the critical appreciation. Here is the lines of the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert stand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Where the mind is without fear is also entitled as heaven of freedom, is one of the celebrated songs of Rabindranath Tagore, one of the greatest poets and literature in Indian writing in English. Tagore's fame as a poet spread far and wide before he was 90. He was a prolific writer. His collected songs run into many volumes and he touched every branch of literature and enriched it by his touch. I told you, he was a man combined with so many artistic quality into one. Rabindranath began as a poet and was equally noted as a singer. Thus, Rabindranath was a versatile genius. As a poet, he strikes almost every chord of the human heart. His poems are sometimes highly philosophic and full of mystical thought. The devotional lyrics of Tagore reveal a mysticism culled from his deep knowledge of Vedantic thought. It is through his poems that he offers his devotion and love to God. In the poem, the poet dreams of an ideal state which India should strive to be. It is one in which there is no fear of any kind. Men have sense of self-respect and do not have to bow down their heads. They should have sufficient moral and spiritual strength to hold their heads high. Knowledge should not be restricted by the authorities of the states. The pursuit of knowledge will be absolutely free. All will have free access to true knowledge in India of the poet's dream. There will be no narrow nationalism in the name of patriotism. Men should have broadness of mind to love all mankind, believing in universal brotherhood. They must not set up narrow domestic walls of division between nations. They should live in isolation. They should not live in isolation, but out of from family of nations. All men should live in love and amity. In the ideal state of India that exists in the poet's dream, man should have an inner realization of what is true and should always follow the path of truth. Their reasoning faculty should be clear and direct. It has to get rid of meaningless customs, narrow prejudices, and deed habits. Their reasoning power will flow like a clear stream. In the concluding part of the poem, the poet prays for divine guidance for his countrymen into that state of my father, take my country. In the concluding part of the poem, the poet prays for divine guidance for his countrymen. He hopes that God will give them broadness of mind and generosity in thought as well as in action. They will prove to be generous and large hearted with a broad and unprejudiced outlook. The poet's dream is that India will be an ideal state, and he prays to God to fulfill his dream. It is a noble poem ending with a noble prayer where he seems to be praying the God the Almighty to imbibe each and every Indian with that strength, with the help of which will enable them to live in a very conducive atmosphere, environment. Definitely, at that time, the Indian society was confronting with so many social orthodoxical evils. The Indian society was divided in the name of caste, creed, religions, politics, and such. He was very much upset, he was very much deeply hurt with this. Thus, the poem, if on the one hand is a prayer to God for the countrymen, it also reveals the poet's feeling for his country, for his countrymen. Definitely, this poem remains to be one of the most fascinating songs of Tagore. Hope you will find it helpful for your coming exam. Thank you.